So which way do you go around the table when you introduce?
Whatever God's little shoulder demon tells me to do.
Yes.
I'll go left to right. I'll go left to
Let's
right.
plan it a little bit this time.
Isaac, Rudy, Jermaine.
Isaac, Rudy, Jermaine. Okay, that'll work.
You're Rudy.
I'm Doug.
Yep.
Welcome
Got
to
it.
everything.
Well done.
There's fucking Isaac. There's fucking Rudy. There's a broken foot.
I don't even need to fucking be here.
Who needs AI?
All right. Doug. 4-panel. Doug. 4-panel. Doug. 4-panel. Oh shit! I'm recording all this. This is gonna be
The
amazing.
worst warm up ever.
Hey guys, welcome to the Hype Attack Podcast.
Where we weigh in on the latest in nerd and pop culture hype.
We're the excited conversation we all have with our friends.
About the nerdy things we love.
And geek about. We are. Rudy's a master pulling bone over there.
Yeah, I wasn't ready until we boned you.
My bone is detached.
Detachable penis.
I haven't heard that in forever. What's up, everybody? Doug here with the Hype Attack Podcast. Joined, as usual, with Isaac, Rudy, Jermaine.
Smooth.
Do we need to do that over?
No.
Okay.
The magic of
Cue the kazoos.
the magic of production.
That's
Yes.
what happened to me last week. Overthought it.
Welcome, everybody, viewers and listeners. I was told to shout out to our sponsors, so we'll do a quick moment to show you nothing.
Guess I'll just go and fuck myself.
And then,
Come on, Bluetooth.
if you sense a little bit of optimism in my voice, we're recording on a Friday. So
It's
I
Friday.
get 2 days of living as the universe intended.
St. Patrick's Eve.
Yeah, it's become a weekend-long thing. Green beer all weekend.
When is St. Patrick's Day? Is it on a
Monday.
Yeah.
See, that's
Took the day off.
Yeah. So today we're going to jump right into our topic, as we have been doing this season. We're going to talk about a show that kind of came out of nowhere for me. I didn't hear much about it until I think Jermaine said to watch it, and I had seen some headlines saying like, "Oh, you should watch this show." This is definitely one of those shows that I highly suggest watching without knowing much about it. So maybe if you haven't watched it and you listen to this, like
That part.
pause us, go spend 8 hours of your life watching that, and then immediately watch us as we talk
heavy,
about this.
heavy spoilers.
But when they pause,
incoming.
it's like
Yeah.
have funny positions.
For what? Oh yeah,
Well,
when
they
you
pause
pause
it.
it.
When
Yeah,
they
yeah,
pause
yeah.
it.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
always
now
going
you're
to get
back.
me probably glancing at myself on the TV. Yes, so Paradise.
Paradise.
Yeah.
There's a nice little trailer and some music from the show.
Oh, yes, yes.
But it's when I saw this trailer, like I kind of discarded it. Like I kind of like, it looks like some weird action thriller, like political intrigue. Like I thought it was like some presidential thing, which I love political things like that. But
Something that would have been on Fox.
yeah, like I was like, okay, cool. Like maybe a sawed off version of 24 or something like that. I'm like, we've had those, and then like it just floated out into the ether. And then finally, Jermaine came back with his recommendations, and we decided we were going to do an episode on it. And I'm like, well, let me watch. No, was this before I watched the first episode? I watched the first episode before we decided to do an episode on it, and I was like,
Yeah.
the episode just grabs you and grabs you and takes you.
That first episode.
Well done.
Yeah.
How much of it did he tell you about?
Like he didn't tell me nothing about it. He just like, you need to watch it.
Yeah, because that was basically you guys. You're like, we're doing the episode. I go, okay. 8 episodes, 45 minutes long each. I'll binge it.
With this type of show, it's one of those things that you just have to tell somebody to watch it because you can't give them any hints or crumbs or anything about it because you're going to give, some major like plot point away, and you want to have the surprises because you don't want anybody going in and like, oh well, I kind of knew because somebody already said something about it.
Someone spoil the big reveal then.
So warning, full spoiler. I'll lead up into it. So I'm watching it, you see, and I'm like, why are we covering this? three of these guys said, let's watch it. Okay, I'm enjoying it. Sterling K. Brown's amazing. I love the pace of it and everything, but I'm like, but why are we covering it?
Yeah, where's the nerd?
Yeah, what the
Where's
fuck?
the
Show
nerd?
your
It's like,
nerds.
wow, like
Yeah.
deep character building and emotion. The soundtrack's great. And I'm like, 30 minutes into it, I go, why are we covering this? This is weird. If we
We
didn't
love
cover
Cyclops.
yeah. and his agent Xavier, hey.
To
And
me, my ex.
and then that last bit hits of where it's taking place. Paradise is basically they're in a biodome. I'm like,
Lost in Paradise.
it's a grounded Fallout.
Yeah, and that first episode did such a great like lead up. They started sprinkling like, oh, there's
Oh my
something
God.
something more.
Yeah.
And then just
Oh.
that fun reveal at the end.
Totally blindsided by that too. Like I had absolutely no idea. And I was like, oh shit, look at it. I'm in. Let's go.
Where's the button? Oh, clever.
Post-apocalypse, let's go.
What part in the first episode were you guys like, okay, this got me? Besides the ending, was there anything?
There was the guy with the ducks. That was towards the end though, right? Putting the fake ducks in the pond, or
Yeah.
that was like middle.
Then it led up to like the ultimate reveal.
Yeah, that whole sequence where they're like before they pull out to the reveal it's a dome, like people with their wristbands and the guy doing the ducks and all that shit. I'm like, what is this? Like, is this some kind of
future.
like some colony under a dome? Something like I was like post reality. I don't know, some alternate reality. I was like,
Yeah.
like my mind was flying down pathways, and then all of a sudden it pulled back, and I'm like, oh, fucking interesting.
The scary part is, I guess technically it'd be sci-fi, but it's so kind of grounded in like,
It's very grounded.
yeah. In fact, kind of, I would kind of caution to say being inspired by the Cold War. I mean, they even hinted at that in one of the later episodes, and how that plays into, sort of the world's demise, if you will.
Yeah, and we've done an episode on apocalypse, post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, we had trouble then.
I know.
Get that Friday energy.
Yeah, Friday energy. All right,
take your medicine, you'll get it down.
we have done an episode on post-apocalyptic fiction.
You got it.
Before,
Everything.
and I think in that episode we kind of like, man, everything's kind of the same. Everything's pretty similar. This is certainly one that I would say is different. Now, the concept of a government entity or billionaires or whoever living through the apocalypse on their own because of their wealth, that's not anything too new. You mentioned Fallout. I'm thinking like Mountain Men from the 100. That was kind of the same concept. They survived the apocalypse by going into a mountain, very similar to this. So it's nothing new, but I think it's been a while since we've really seen it, and it was certainly a surprise. That's what we were getting. For some reason, the internet, I thought I saw zombies, so I was kind of anticipating, like, oh, when's the zombies show up? I don't know. Everything's zombies nowadays. So.
You never know. I mean, it just got greenlit for its second season, so
Yeah.
we haven't seen the outside world much.
Yes.
Man, but
yes, yes.
I was hooked on the characters.
Yeah.
You just got to love and just see how these characters like work within this environment. But that first episode, I was like, man, I actually like how old boy's playing this presidential character.
Love.
And then all of a sudden he's dead. I was like,
By the way,
they
quick,
made me like him and he's already dead. I was like, damn.
huge shout out to James Marsden finally stepping into a role where it's like very fleshed out and layered, as are all of the characters.
Yeah.
But most importantly, like his last role was the fucking Donut Lord in the Sonic movies. So like, it's a step up from that.
Yeah. But with his character though, how everybody kind of like picked up on their little, like Rudy was mentioning, like, the wristbands, and Doug said like the ducks. Just him being kind of like a cool type president, but his drinking thing, I was just sitting there. I was like, man, like, what is really going on here? Because I just felt like there was something else behind that, more so than just him, being that way. And just him kind of ending up just on the floor. It's those type of things that I like, because I know they're gonna come back
Yeah.
and they're gonna
Answer those questions.
stitch everything
Yeah.
together but it just worked so well,
I think that like
flawlessly too.
storytelling wise, I think they did it cleverly enough where they're really what's that, like the cup and ball game? They're kind of like shuffling things around, and they're not necessarily distracting you in like a bad story writing, but just there's so much going on
Yeah.
in a good way. That they do finally come back and answer those questions, because it felt like the series Lost, but except like there actually is an answer at the end and everything does come together, and you're posing all these questions, but you're finally actually answering them, as opposed to like posing new questions.
Yeah.
And the reason why I related to Lost is because Lost was heavily character driven. In fact, spending most of the episode most times in a flashback to build their motivation and everything up, as this did, with amazing actors and just great story writing.
Yeah, to your guys' point about like how it brought up questions or clues or stuff, but some of them got answered pretty quick, which I thought that was nice. Like, the earrings, like, and right away we're so used to like, spousal something happened, right? So that he's dead, he sees the earrings. I'm like, oh, those are going to be something. And then like 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, they're hers. And then you learn who she is, and it's like, oh, okay, like the earrings don't mean anything. Like, and I thought that was really cool because it kind of broke down like how much information can be seen in a crime scene, and how quickly some of it can be answered and how some of it can't be answered. And the flashback thing is such a great method to bring in that kind of story, like character development and everything like that. I sometimes do feel like I get frustrated when shows are done that way, because like the moment that the show's about, the moment of the president dying and figuring out who it is, feels to like drag. Because half the episodes are flashbacks. I'm just like, I want to know, like, I want to go back to the investigation. Like, I'm into that. But then once, if it's done really well, it doesn't matter, because you get sucked into some of the flashback moments and the flashback scenes.
Specifically with the pilot episode, the first episode, like the subsequent episodes, they did have a little more flashback than some other ones. But the first episode specifically is the one to lock you in, because it's slowly presenting you this world, knowing it's going to reveal what it is. Like, no, this is all normal. This is suburbia. And introducing your characters, and they're just everything being normal until it's not.
Yeah.
But doing it in that way where I was surprised in later episodes, like there were so many flashbacks, because that first episode was like, no. Here's where everything just really shifted. And maybe we'll go back and how X is introduced to the president. But we're not going to spend too much time in that past. Still a quick intro to establish their relationship, and then just really spending time in the present. And goddamn, Sterling K. Brown is a fucking amazing actor. Like, I know they wrote his character that way, but for him to execute that shit,
I like him. I really do.
and that don't make me mad.
It's just like,
And he's ripped.
sometimes his delivery is just so like monotone.
Yeah.
And I know that's because that's the character he was playing.
Yeah.
But it was so just level that I was like, is this like really him acting, or is it just like this is how it usually is? And then when he has to act and he turns on the smile, like it's just odd to me. He's not a bad actor. He comes off odd to me.
That's where I would partially disagree with you, because the greatness in his acting is in those micro expressions, because he's the fucking secret agent and he doesn't have the opportunity to react. That when he does, it's because he's so pissed off that he has to make a show of things, that it happens so infrequently that he's kind of
He was on the
robotic.
show. He was on the show.
This Is Us?
This Is Us, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing some of that, and it had that same, like, just even, like, monotone, like barely emotional, and I'm like, okay, is this like a thing he does?
I was curious about that, because the only time I've actually ever seen, not to pivot on This Is Us, it was a 30-second clip, and he was like driving in his truck, some story with their dad or whatever, and Alva showed it to me, and I immediately started crying, and I was like, can't watch the show. Can't do it.
I put the show on, and he immediately came on the screen, and because she watched the This Is Us, she's like, what the hell is this? I'm like, this is The Last of Us? And she's like, it's like she hitched for a second. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, this is something else.
I do like that his life, with the moments of building up the character, and you're getting to know all these characters. Like, I love the relationship between Cal and Xavier.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things too, like later on in the story, his wife was like, she had that dialogue, which I don't remember specifically how she said it, but it was one of those things, you know, where it was like, you're so calm and you're collected, but I would hate to see when, you know, something pushes you too far, like
Who you lose your shit all over.
yeah, what you're gonna do. And when she said that, I was just like, yeah, let me have it.
And
I need that energy right now.
as she said that, they would flash to the present,
Yeah.
where he's loading up the guns and like
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
all the,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So that was that kind of perfect storytelling.
I do love that type of stuff. There's that one scene in the rundown with The Rock and old boy is just in the background and he's having dialogue as The Rock is getting ready to do his shit. Like it just builds it up like nice. Like it's just one of those little things that just amplifies the scene a little bit better. But I do love those little moments.
Yeah, I mean, we can move on from the first episode, but I do want to say, like, kind of to amplify your point, like them choosing to do it that way. I think to slowly bring us in instead of just right away, like here's this world. I think, I mean, I guess it goes unsaid, but it just really shows how artistic creativity can really make a difference. Instead of just telling a story, instead of just this is what people want. Here's another post-apocalyptic, like. Choosing to do it certain ways, choosing to do it the flashbacks, or slowly introducing to it can really just make a difference.
Well, it's that thing where, you know, I guess you would have whatever the concept is, you know, whether it be an apocalypse or zombie, vampires, whatever. But like it shows the importance of having such a strong story or like a character driven thing set to the backdrop. You know, the backdrop, the setting is sort of the afterthought.
Yeah, and that's the thing with a lot of this nerd stuff that we talk about. I think that this might be a reminder of all that, like what needs to be done for that. Like you can't just rely on like, oh, people just want it's a post-apocalyptic movie and there's a president involved. Like that's not as interesting as something more creatively done. And you know, I think the superhero shows and movies and Star Wars and Star Trek even to a point can learn from that of like it doesn't need to rest on the nerd shit to say it needs to rest on the characters and the way you tell the story.
Exactly.
I feel like it's like a bonus where it's like we're telling our story. Here's these things. It's also a whodunit story, you know. So you know, Alva's locked in. She's like, oh, who the fuck? But also the bonus is you then get to explore whatever nerd element.
Yeah, there's
that there
world
is.
building.
Yeah.
There's how it happened, what's going to happen.
So like as the show progresses, there's parts of me that are like, ooh, they're really delving into like the psychology of this and some of the technical aspects, and yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's after the first episode, they gave you all that wonderful, delicious goodness. I was hoping it wasn't one of those shows that was going to be okay. Now that they have you,
Yeah.
is it going to be like a slow burn and you know like that kind of like way of storytelling where things just crawl and you start to kind of like lose interest a little bit,
yeah.
but just with like how you guys are describing like the psychology of the world, like how they got certain people, you know, invested in this, and then how you're seeing them, like how everything was created, and then Sinatra, fuck Sinatra, by the way.
So should we set up the story a little bit so we can like introduce these characters? Like, so you have like an end of the world scenario, and a billionaire has formed like a cabal of other billionaires to create this dome underground city.
So unrealistic.
So humanity can survive, but you know, so they can survive.
Nobody could build this.
And she joins the government, gets the government involved so they can, you know, subsidize it too. And they have a list of 25,000 people. Was that?
I think so.
That are greenlit to live in this this new civilization.
And where was it located again? Just
Colorado.
Colorado, yeah, right.
On a mountain.
I just kind of wanted to give an overview, so because we're talking about these things, and we're like, well,
No, that's a good point. We probably should
Yeah.
start doing overviews with.
It's just one of those.
I just wanted to do a quick one. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
I just didn't know how to land that plane.
So with all these people, you know, in this dome city, you know, quote unquote, like this last city. So you have Sinatra, who's kind of over the president, like above the president. She's pulling all the strings, and it's just one of those things. As the story unfolds, you find out that she's doing things behind the scenes, like like there's actual people still existing in the world. Everybody who is in this dome, they were told that nobody outside exists, that you can't go out there. But you find out from one of Xavier's closest man, what's his name again?
Pace.
Pace, yeah, Billy Pace.
Billy Pace.
Was that his name? Billy
Agent.
Pace?
Agent
Billy
Billy.
Pace.
Yeah.
Sniper.
So
Wonderfully acted, by the way.
yeah. So he went out on like a little recon mission, and he found that there's well, actually they sent 4 people out there.
Just straight up scientists.
Yeah,
Zero survival
scientists
skills.
to go see, but they found evidence of people still existing, and they wanted to bring people back. But Sinatra axed that and said, kill everybody because we don't want to.
They can't really upset the balance of this.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's only can
Self-contained
support.
city.
Yeah.
of their ecosystem and all that stuff. So she's doing things, orchestrating it by any means necessary to keep her place safe from the outside world. But
For the greater good.
yes, so she wants that. But within
Shout out
this
Tau
dome,
players in Warhammer.
right? But within this dome, you have key players that pretty much work for her, and that one girl, whatever her name is,
Jane?
Yeah.
Jane. When
She's a gamer, so she can do what she wants.
So like so.
man, that
We'll talk about her motive later.
that scene killed me when man, I keep forgetting his name, the agent guy,
Billy.
Billy. When Billy went back to her
Billy.
and was like, "You're gonna have to send the biggest, baddest
Oh.
motherfucker, to
Oh,
come
yeah.
get
Put
me."
that on the universe.
And I was like, "Damn," because it's one of those things. He was gonna tell Xavier everything, like he was gonna lay his cards out on the table, and just pretty much be on the side for greater good at that point.
Yeah.
And
I loved his story. It was a
man, if there
redemption
was
story.
if there was gonna be like an epic kind of like shootout battle going on, I was like, man, Billy would have been perfect. But that
Fucking Black Widow.
that freaking
It's always
B
the,
word
it's always the punane
Sinatra.
gets you.
Yeah.
Bleep that, please.
So
But it's just well thought out and executed, where you kind of just
Poor choice of words.
you kind of fall for these characters, but then the characters that you hate, you're really gonna hate them because of things that they've had, that they were ordered to do.
Which is good storytelling.
Yeah,
Like you're
Yes.
supposed to not like the villains or
Yes.
whatever.
and it was
Exactly.
only
No, this
only
one-
it's only 8 episode show, and the amount that they made me care about these characters,
Yeah.
Yeah.
perfect.
Well, that caring about the characters and then going back to like just the story in general, it was a thriller. So right away we're hit with the who done it, who killed the president. But then we're introduced to the fact that this is a post-apocalyptic world. So right away it's like, well, how did the world end? They hinted at nukes, but they never really confirmed it. So we're going episodes in, waiting for that, and then we kind of get introduced to like a little bit more mysteries here, like what's really going on, like really like well written to keep you hooked on just answering those questions. But
Yeah.
then as you're going, you're also loving the characters and you're curious where they're going to go. Even little Presley, Cal's or Xavier's daughter, like she was getting a little love interest with the president's son, and you kind of get hooked in that, like because even their story like ended up having a point to the overall story as well, which is I think that's kind of key here. Is none of those characters felt wasted in the overall
Great point.
arc. Like
Yeah.
like there was very few wasted points, and from just to get into the apocalypse a little bit more. So again, we'll spoil everything on this. What a real representation. I mean, I guess because it's a series over a movie where they can kind of take the time to go over like all the aspects of something like this, from the actual knowledge of the apocalypse coming, because it's revealed that they knew it was coming at some point.
It was some volcanoes that were blowing up.
It was a super volcano in the Antarctic.
Yeah. But you know, they were aware that it was going to happen.
Decade or so, right?
Yeah, they had
that was the
about a
timetable,
decade.
yeah.
So that's when they started building the thing, and then of course going through who gets to go there, and yeah, they brought in a psychologist, which again is like it's those little details. You know, my favorite thing in world building. It's those little details that can really make it feel that much more real. That like
Absolutely.
okay, a psychologist that was very involved in like okay, we're going to need this people, these people. We're going to need this. We're going to need chili cheese fries. Like we need these things to make it normal.
And even with the nature sounds, like
Yeah.
like they were saying that they recorded, you know, so many different sounds, like you said, just to make this atmospheric bubble thing just
Yeah,
work.
and which is perfect because I know like dudes like us. I mean, I don't know if we've had this conversation, but I've had conversations like this with other guys. But you know, you always talk about the post-apocalyptic, and you talk about this idea of living in a dome, and like you never really get into those little details. And I think that's like was such a cool
I love
aspect
the
of it.
intricate workings of that stuff. Like, it's just a little side note. With me watching the Expanse right now, there's like a lot of little workings in there that's just cleverly giving you through the story that I love. So that's one of the things about this story that just plays well.
Yeah, they even started showing you like the little backgrounds a little bit about like how the sky worked. And I think even in the first episode, right before you got the reveal of what it was, it said like dawn is delayed 2 hours. Like
Scheduled maintenance.
yeah,
Like,
scheduled maintenance. Like
By 2
again,
hours,
those are those little things that
Yeah.
really don't mean anything, but they just make it so much more real and so much
Yeah.
cooler.
Because in later episodes, I think it was the psychiatrist, what's her name, Dr. Tarabi, that you know, she's pointing out all the little details and all the things that make it so important to not break the illusion, if you will, to the point where like when the climax of the show hits and Xavier, you know, had an image posted on the sky and she's trying to shut it down, and the only way to do that is to literally turn off the sky. And the doctor's like, yeah, that's all cool and all with your shit, but like everyone's gonna lose their fucking minds. Like, you know, this little bubble of 25,000 people, like that's so important to maintain that, because it'll take either so long to go back to normalcy, or if ever.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised at how well adjusted everyone seemed, you know, having just survived the end of the world. And
Dude, if I got my own house,
did you get a house? I got a house.
I got a house. Yeah, their conversation. You know, I got a house.
So how did you guys feel when they revealed the who done it?
For the president?
Yeah.
For who killed the president?
They were on track with the way that they were presenting their information and then coming back to it later. But this was literally like presented at the beginning with the failed assassination attempt from Trent.
Yes. Which normally, you know, that'd be like, oh, that's going to be something. But they use that also to establish how Xavier took a bullet for Cal.
So smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, he took a bullet from that thing. So it was very easy to place that guy
Great point.
on the back burner. Like, all right, he was he did that. As far as storytelling goes, he's done his role, and now we can forget about him.
And
But we couldn't.
And the fact that he was hiding in plain sight as a librarian.
That's
I was
the
like,
part that I love.
oh,
Like when they revealed him and then they gave us the backstory and all that stuff, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was the
So well done. So
wowzers.
well done.
that being said, I still think Sinatra would have killed him like the day after. Or, you know what I mean? If the librarian wasn't like, I'm getting real comfortable. Oh shit, it's the president. I have managed to avoid him all this time, but now I'm mad again. If like that little situation didn't happen, if he wasn't going to make that mixtape for his son,
Yeah.
then I think that Sinatra would have killed him shortly after.
She says as much. She's like, if he kept digging the way he was digging, I was probably going to have to.
Which I want to circle back around to Sinatra's. She's the villain, basically, and it's that thing that we've talked about. I know we talked about it in the first season villain episodes, where like a great villain is one that you can kind of go like, I see your point. It sucks. It's morally gray. Maybe it's rational, but you know, for the
I
greater
love-
good.
I
Anatomically
love
correct,
that
morally wrong.
she is the villain
I'll pack that later.
and she has that side to her, but there's no one in that show that's colder than Jane.
Dude, oh my
When
god.
Jane, when Xavier had the gun pointed at Sinatra's, pretty much dome piece, just upset about because he found out, that life exists out there and his wife is still alive and, she most likely had the coordinates where he can go find her because Xavier kind of had like strife with the president throughout the whole thing. They had a good relationship, but something had happened that we didn't really see until later on. But you find out that of course everybody couldn't go to this safe haven paradise, so some people got left behind, and you saw the chaos that happened at the White House. People having to
Great scene.
Amazing scene.
to shoot each other. They had to leave people behind. He gave this woman, his word that he was gonna,
man.
save the kid. But with that said, I was watching this whole thing. I was like, you were upset with the president for leaving his wife behind.
for choosing,
Granted, she was somewhere else, in a different state. But he did the same thing to old girl, when he asked her,
that's a great point,
for the son. And I was sitting there, I was
think
like, man, your anger is directed somewhere else.
I think Xavier was more mad though that, like he said, he even told Cal, like, you should have told me how serious this was.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously Cal couldn't. Like, Cal was hinting the whole time, and they eventually brought Xavier in, like, this is going to happen. You're going to be part of this plan. But they never told him, like, this is happening soon.
Yeah, to the full
because, like he
extent of
said,
everything.
if he knew, he would have never let his wife go to Atlanta.
But like he was
like,
telling her,
I
he was
told
like,
you.
"This might be
Yeah.
the time to
he's
put your foot down with your wife, homie."
Like,
he's like, she does her own
felt like
thing.
he's more so of a pawn because of the the scene got me with the granddad and the
oh Jesus,
president's son and all that stuff.
yeah.
But even with the president himself, like when he told his dad, one of the rich billionaires, he was like, were you ever proud of anything that I've ever done?
Oh,
and he
my
was
God.
he was like, pretty much like everything you ever done is,
Because of me.
because of me. And I was like,
You've never done anything that I haven't done for you.
yeah.
By the
that
way,
part.
I guess the not collage, excuse me, whatever, the series of quick scenes of everyone's last words to Cal,
yeah,
basically
yeah.
saying "fuck you."
Yeah.
I think X even saying "I'll sleep when you're dead."
Yeah.
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 Like, poor guy. He made
that's
the
what made it
morally
hurt.
he made the morally correct decisions, even up to the point where having the nuclear football and deciding not to launch the America's
Yeah.
nukes and to launch the EMPs, even if it was just to save like some of America, which ultimately
Yeah, like
ended
he
up possibly
finally-
saving his wife.
Like he finally said enough because he had recorded a BS speech that they were gonna broadcast to America, to tell them some nonsense.
Stay calm.
Yeah, but then he was like, "F all this, let me go live, and I'm gonna tell the people the truth about what's going on." Because he had this moment, where he saw the janitor. And he was still
Love that moment.
like still cleaning. Yeah,
Great moment.
the story, man, the little details. But anyways, he had this moment with the janitor, and the janitor was like, I've lived through so many things, blah blah blah. I'm gonna live through this, and he kind of like grabbed him by the shoulders, like, look, you don't understand. Like, this is not,
I'm the president. I'm beholden to top secret stuff. I can't say exactly
this is
why.
one of those
but
things.
GTFO.
He's
He
like,
was
bro,
like,
go home, call your
yeah,
family.
go home, go to your family. So that little moment was the thing that made him, turn.
Push past those like boundaries, the presidential boundaries.
Yeah, so he had to break free of all the nonsense, but he did get the message to everybody. But that's when the event started to turn, and
That shit really hit for me too when he's giving that speech and they flash to those people, the staff watching on the TV
Yeah,
outside.
yeah.
Cut back to him and then cut back to where they were standing.
Yeah.
And they're gone. Like
Yeah.
his little cart that he was pushing around, like just empty.
yeah.
I'm like,
The
yeah.
dust silhouette.
Well, also during that scene was X knew exactly what was going to happen, and I love it because he didn't say it. He didn't, tell us, the audience, or tell anyone there. It was just like as soon as he knew he was going to do that, he went and got the more gear. He went and got the bulletproof vest, and it, like, again, just great way to show, not tell, what was going to
Yeah,
happen.
absolutely.
Rachel, that during that part where they're trying to get out of the White House, where Cal stopped, Xavier stops, takes off his vest, and puts it on the president. Rachel just happened to be looking up. She's like, "And he gave you his vest? Fuck you, Mr. President."
Well, it just goes to show you, like, sometimes making the morally correct decision is extremely difficult. And, you know, sure, you'll save people, but it might upset everyone else. And it's like, you can't make everyone happy. But
That was a rough ride for everybody.
Well, especially once people figure it out, wait, there is a plan, and like certain people are on this
Yeah.
list and certain people aren't. Like,
man, that's a tough one too. But you know, his line to Sinatra, like they're basically their ultimate face off when they're on the plane, and he's gonna put in the codes, is the nuke codes and the EMP codes, red pill, blue pill, and he's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I gotta give humankind a chance, just some sort of fighting chance.
Yeah.
Like, here we are, safely gonna go into a fucking biodome where we're gonna be nice and happy, paradise, and then we're just gonna say fuck you to everyone else, hoping that we live soundly through this Noah's Ark. Fuck everyone else.
That shit threw me off too when they were talking about, like, because they dropped Atlanta got hit with like 2 nukes. I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be like an extinction level event, not a nuclear holocaust. And then when they get into it and like the world's ending and like, well, the world's ending, let's fucking start nuking everyone to pare down the resources that the rest of us are going to need. I'm like, God damn, what a just layered fucking approach to it. And like, thinking about it, like when Sinatra's like, in every model we've run, nuclear war was always the end game. I'm like,
yeah.
we're some fucked up.
So, go ahead.
But really quick, but the Cold War, the actual Cold War story of why the Cold War or that nuclear war never happened back in the 60s?
70s, 60s, 70s, 80s,
I was going to get it wrong, damn it.
50s.
Of the person that was actually going to push the button in the submarine was like, can't do it. I know they told me to do it.
That specific story.
Yeah. Which is what Cal did. Like, him dealing with all these, this red tape and everything up until that moment, up until when he was going to put in the codes, that he was kind of unsure and letting everyone else dictate what to do and everything. It was that moment that he's like, no, this has to ultimately be in my hands. And everything he did from then on out, he was very sure-footed.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine. That was a very, very great point. I was going to get into the actual apocalypse now that we're talking about it a little bit. So we mentioned there was the mega volcano in the Antarctic, which of course knocked a bunch of ice into the water, which created a tsunami that was heading from the south. So they kind of quickly covered like which cities were just getting wiped out, and they were underestimating how much it was. And then that led to, as you were just saying, the nuclear war, as countries realized that there was going to be a little bit of survivors maybe, and there was going to be resources to gather, so kill people. I was very happy that we didn't get into the destruction porn that apocalypse movies usually go into.
Agreed 1,000%.
Why waste the money? Why waste the budget? Why waste the time? We don't need to see it anymore. We've seen plenty of those movies in the past.
The one scene they did do of the wave hitting the reporter,
Oh.
that shit was so impactful. Just like it just hit literally like I was like, oh shit, like just the
And she was on a skyscraper.
Yeah, just the very like
We're flying up here.
subtle, like you could tell it was like a wall of water coming, and then like they're like, oh, we're on the tallest skyscraper and blah, blah, whatever. And no,
Yeah.
everybody's fucked.
Well, when
She
she heard
realized the Great Cleanse was coming for her.
when she heard the noise, which we learned was just like the sonic boom that
So
was
cool.
coming
The
in front of
pressure
it.
wave,
Yeah.
crazy.
At first, because they had mentioned the nukes, I was kind of like, oh, is she seeing the nuke? And then, like, I kept kind of waiting for that moment of
Yeah.
like, oh, we're waiting on a wave, and then oh, there's a nuke. Like, but I what they ended up doing was so much better because it was like, oh, this really hurts, blah blah blah. We're fine, and then just not fine.
Now, I don't know if they pulled that depiction of that, if they were inspired by the events of 9/11. And I only mention that because it popped up on my feed. One specific clip where the news reporter, same thing, and they're talking, and then all of a sudden they hear rumbling, and the first tower falls, and then a cascade of smoke and destruction. So they're just running for their lives. And they run into some stores and everything, and the cameras are still rolling, and people are still kind of in denial about it. Same thing like the reporter, like, we're fine, we're on the thing. And I don't know if you guys have seen this clip. They duck into a deli, but the woman's like, but my shit's out there. it's gonna get dirty. And he's like, no, there's gonna be all this destruction. You're gonna fucking die. And then it just like whoosh washes through, and she's like, oh my God. She's like very emotional. You saved my life. Like, you don't know, you're in such denial up until that point where it just smacks you right in the fucking face. That scene just felt very much parallel to that.
Yeah, that and commentary on media reporters going and standing in the wind during a hurricane and shit like that. Like, it's very much that still to the bitter end. Like, go get that good shot, get those ratings up.
Who expected a tornado
Twister.
in Pico Rivera?
No, I know. Yeah, seriously.
All those movies, Twister.
So I have a question. Sinatra, did she give off a little musk to you?
Excuse me?
Did she give
Yeah, I mean, billionaire
Musk,
influencing
yeah.
with the
like
ear of the
a little, like,
president.
a little musky?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Looks like her breath smells.
the social and political commentary was pretty
Yeah.
rampant throughout this, but it definitely didn't take away from it. I mean, at one point, yeah, the environmentalists preaching on TV, pretty preachy.
I think it was subtle though. Like they didn't, at least with her character, they didn't beat your ass over the head with it, but she did kind of give that evil supervillain vibe.
Yeah,
Like before you got to know like how she got to that point, like her like just cold calculating ass was like, I'm like, damn, if shit like this was happening right now, this is exactly what I would expect our billionaires to be fucking plotting and planning.
yeah. And one of the first scenes
They
that we
already
got.
got some bunkers or something like that already made.
Oh, I know they're already working on. Yeah,
The show episode sponsored by Bunkers R Us. It's a thing, by the way. I think.
if you use our code Hype Tech Bunker, you'll get a free supply of butt plugs to go with it.
10-year supply.
Yeah.
No supplies last.
Chili cheese, but
Yep.
That's the show.
But yeah, I think one of the first scenes we got introduced was with Sinatra was when they were rolling through the security tape and they show Xavier standing off to the side watching and they kind of are confrontational. At that point, I didn't know who she was. I thought, oh, is she the vice president? Is she his wife? Like, but you could see very much like that kind of confrontation to it. So like right away, you're kind of just like, who's this bitch? Like,
right?
because we all liked Cal at that point.
Yeah.
And then she did lose her kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, to like a sickness or something, right?
Yeah, something. Yeah. I was like, man, they try to give us a little bit of, or have us have sympathy for her. I was like, no.
It was her bad day of like kind of turning into a villain of like, oh, it was a turning.
Everybody has that one day.
Well, it ignited her mama bear instinct. Like, oh, shit can go south in the happiest of moments when my kid's on a little, horsey thing. And so I need to protect everything with as much claw and violence as I can.
So
for the greater good.
So it was her son that died, right? And this was years ago, right?
Yes.
I don't remember. Have we seen her daughter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She interacts with her when she was a kid and also older.
She does have like
Okay.
a quick scene where
Okay.
she's like trying to walk by her room and the kids in there studying.
Because
She's like, what, mom? Ugh.
because I got something mixed up because I heard somebody say that Jane could have possibly been her daughter, but I was like, man, that would have been cold if that was her daughter.
Oh, that'd have been pretty interesting.
That would
Yeah.
have been a nice
I-
twist.
Yeah,
Fucking Jane.
I think at the end though, when they showed Sinatra in the hospital because she got shot in the chest,
Yeah.
I thought the daughter was
She was there.
she was there.
Her
Yeah.
and the husband.
Yeah. So Jane,
Trophy husband.
let's talk about Jane. So again, going back to what I was, let's.
Oh, you like these gamer chicks? Then?
Yeah. She can
You have
poison me.
You have a thing, huh?
No. So again, going back to what I was saying, how they introduced you to these little clues and stuff, and then answered them relatively quick. One of them was, oh, someone froze the cameras. That in the first episode, it's like someone froze the cameras. All right, who did that? And then pretty quickly we learned, oh, Jane and Billy froze the cameras so they could play the Wii and probably bang. But yeah, so she wanted the Wii and everything, and then at one point when the president was dead, she had called and asked if she can get the Wii.
Yeah.
Or from Sinatra, like that was part of her bargaining agreement.
That conversation, though, so I mean, it was smart of Jane to not reveal her nefarious self to Presley.
Oh, she played her part so well.
Yeah.
Super well, right? Like nobody knew other than
I
Sinatra.
love and despise you all at the same time.
It makes it so much better. But the fact that like she calls her and she's like, yeah, what do you need me to do? She's like, what? No, I don't need you to do anything. Like, Jesus, she's just like really trigger happy. And so that sets it up. And then she's like, look, I have one thing to ask from you. And you're thinking like, oh, she wants a fucking political position, all these other things. She's like, you know that it was the only part that her true self was actually a little bashful. She's like, well, you know how Cal had the gaming system. She's like, well, are you out of your fucking mind? She's like, you know what? You're right. This conversation's over. And like, click. Oh my gosh, she's gonna fucking kill Presley. And I totally thought that Presley was dead. And so did Xavier.
Oh, but how she played off walking back into the room after she killed Billy.
Yeah.
Like just her tears.
Not even a hint.
I wanted to
Anything. Ice cold killer.
Liu Kang like bicycle kick her like through that wall so bad. I was like, it's just one of those things too where because she is that type of character that the audience knows who she is, but everybody else in the world,
Yeah.
And they still don't.
yeah. So when everything was going down, I was like, and she took the daughter, I was like, man, he's gonna find out like too late, or something's gonna happen and he's gonna get shot, something. But it didn't play out that way. But she was just that overall threat that was just in the back of my mind. I was like, when is she gonna activate and just do something that's gonna break me?
I'm also glad that they didn't give her backstory yet. You know, I imagine they're going to explore it in the second season now that we've got that confirmed.
She had to have been brought in by Sinatra because she had her own gun. She had that gun in the pillow. So she had to have been brought in with some for some heavy influence. So yeah, I mean, again, we're going to see her backstory
Because, Sinatra knew about Billy and, his being, what was it, the Watchdogs or something like that? Or just a mercenary,
group.
right?
Yeah.
Whatever the fun name is. But, his own redemption story and upbringing and everything.
Yeah.
Well, that whole thing is clever as shit. Like if you, as a a billionaire, you want backup, you want security, you want trained killers in case you need them. So where do you stick these people? Like where they wouldn't stick out like, oh, you don't have any, you're not a librarian, why the hell are you here? Like, no, you stick them under the president's security detail and then activate your sleeper agents when you need them. And she had two, plus her own little personal security that Xavier took care of during that one scene. So how many possible more trained killers are just hanging out?
Because how devious was it that that Jane wasn't known to all the other killers? Just that super secret sleeper cell.
Partitioned.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I totally thought like her and Billy were going to be in cahoots for whatever reason. But for Billy to not even know.
Man, that
Bitch.
I like it and I love it, but
I
when
want some more of it.
but when Billy, told Sinatra the whole you better send somebody, big and bad, blah 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 blah. I wanted
You wanted that fight?
that brawl, but when it happened, I was like, ooh.
Well,
That's cold.
he got a
That's
taste.
cold.
He got a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah.
Because through his
But
backstory,
he's Uncle Billy.
Uncle Billy, through his backstory, he's always punching first
Yeah.
to whoever the bigger person is.
Exactly.
Oh, that scene was brutal.
Yeah, in the prison to his uncle, although he got shot, and then
During the training.
yeah. And so for him to be like, I could fucking take him
Oh, yeah.
down, and this little sneaky bitch, she struck first. Not even letting know what the fuck is up. Have a beer. Great.
Didn't even offer it to him. He was on the table. He was like, "Can I have some of that?"
Psychopath.
Cool.
Man.
Yeah.
And like she just had it ready for him.
You think she had like some backups? She
had
had some candies or something around.
She
or-
was
like,
like,
"Shit."
if he doesn't drink this, I'm just gonna have to fucking suffocate him and
Yeah.
sleep or something.
Which one
Put
is
on my
poison?
lipstick, her
Everything?
poisonous venom lipstick or something. But she's one of those that you don't want to mess around with.
Absolute Black Widow.
But I need her to get
Naked.
some repercussion for that. Okay,
It's gonna come.
so after everything is wrapped up,
Or I am.
are you guys interested?
I already did.
Are you guys as interested in where the story's going now?
Oh my God,
with what we've seen.
I was gonna try to wait for the end. We're like, do you see this story surviving going out into the world, because it's pretty contained in this bubble,
Yeah,
and
I'm
everything's
curious about that,
revolving
too.
around that,
There
opening
is-
it up to the world and different characters, and like
I
how
hope
how do you
it's-
think that's going to play out? Like, can they maintain that momentum?
Exactly. The momentum for me is key. You know, I don't care if we're dealing with the main story, but all the little things that happen in the background gotta keep that momentum stirring. There was only one series that, movie wise, that I've seen that kind of hooked me in the beginning, was the Maze Runner.
Oh yeah.
When they were inside that maze, everything was so interesting. Once they
Ventured out.
ventured out and descended upon the planes and all the other stuff, the story kind of started to drop downhill. And I'm hoping that this doesn't go that route, because it's just Xavier now, you know, gonna go get his wife. But hopefully, you know, there's more things like you get in I was about to say The Walking Dead, but like The Last of Us, you know, where there's other kind of threats out there, or I don't know, somebody wants the dome because originally,
Sorry, I'm 12.
because
It's
originally
taking blowjob day today, by the way, so watch your words.
because originally when Sinatra or whoever said that the killer is nobody in this facility, that is somebody from the outside, I was like, ooh, are they gonna send Xavier, you know, out, and like that's gonna be his thing? Like, if you want to get your wife or blah blah blah, you have to find out who did this and stop that person, you know, like. But it wasn't that, you know, because you find out, of course, the person was there. But it was one of those things I was like, is this where the story's going to go next? But now I'm really curious to see what's going to happen.
I think. Sorry. I think we can certainly get one more season. I think we deserve at this point to see Xavier find his wife. I don't know if it's going to be as good, because again, part of what made this first season so great are those questions. How did the apocalypse happen? Who killed the president? What's going on? Well, all this. A lot of that's gone at this point. So that question hook, I mean, unless they really quickly introduce us to more questions, which I mean, I don't know what that could be. They could surprise me. I think that'll be gone, but I think we care enough about these characters to see an end point to it. So I could certainly see one more season. I can also see them trying to stretch this out. He's going to run into, because they've already established that there's groups forming out there. And there's, I think in some of the recordings that Sinatra played, they talked about like, oh, we're forming a community outside of this or whatever. So he could potentially run into any of that. Now, granted, he's taking a plane, which is certainly like unique. So it very well might
Ball in, he's taking a plane. Everybody, he's going to be like peasants.
I mean, who knows?
How
First
fast
episode,
he'll
he might be
realize there's no place
landing
to
and picking
land.
her up and bringing her back to the dome.
Where's he going to land?
So, yeah, I think it's interesting. Real quick, bouncing around here for a little bit. You brought up the killer, how he was from someone outside and stuff, and he ended up being there. But his motivation, I thought, great motivation.
Oh, yeah.
So it's to tell our audience that they're not going to watch the show, which you should. You should.
For the greater good. He also did it for the greater good.
Well, yeah, I mean, so he was a construction worker, or he was like a foreman for a construction crew that were building this dome, and they ended up running into arsenic or something in the ground, and it basically killed his work crew. And
the love of his life.
Adam? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I was getting that too. So killed people he loved, and, so he kept trying to like fight it, like what's going on, what's happening in Colorado, and so yeah, he did all this for his revenge or for his crew. I thought that was pretty. As a working man myself,
Yeah.
I know what that feels like to work in a shitty environment just so rich people can get their shit. Second season, you were going to say something.
So maybe they'll start off. I mean, who knows how they're gonna write the second season? But I can totally see it starting from the point of view of Terry, his wife. Was it Terry? Of Xavier's wife, and then seeing how she got there. Same thing with the Pulp Fictioning the storyline. But even if that second season fails, I'm very happy that they answered 95%.
Oh, we got a great first season.
First season where it's like, I know in the world that we live in where there's so many seasons and they don't get multiple seasons. Like, it was a beautifully told, self-contained story with a happily ever after-ish You know, like, and he goes and look for. It's like, but it was just so
Jane
fun
got her
contained.
Wii.
I did read an article that with the showrunner who suggested that it's going to be 3 seasons at least. He has a story for up to that point,
Good.
and that it's
I could see that.
but the
Good.
show is going to fundamentally change from season 1 to season 2.
It did already get renewed for season 2, so that's already a good sign. So I'm hoping that it
Yeah.
that it doesn't do me like how Altered Carbon did. I'll never forgive you, Netflix.
Damn, I know, man. That show was cool.
Because also, that was the other one that
Poor
I was trying to
Anthony
think
Mackie.
of. Altered Carbon, the way that ended, I loved everything in the first season. But when he was leaving and he was going to go, quote unquote, find his princess, you know, he was going to go back out there into the universe. I was like, oh, here we go. Now we're about to, you know, explore everything. And then they gave me season 2, and then season 3 got canceled. But anyways, I'm just hoping with all the hope that I can muster that they do wrap the story up, because it's just one of those that you rarely get these type of gems, and I just hope that it finishes like that.
I'm assuming it's going to be him go finding wife and finding a group. Second season, third season is like the Clash or them trying to get into the dome or something like that. That's the standard
If they end up on the Lost Island, I'm gonna shit. You were if
tie-in.
if what you were saying is true of like they have what 3 seasons worth of story, right? That kind of fills me with some hope, because a lot of times you'll have a successful, you know, like Lost, they have it up to a season or 2 and haven't figured out the rest, even though the rest of the seasons got greenlit. They're like, yeah, we don't know where we're going with this. I'm like, no, don't fly in fucking blind. So at least, because then that means that hopefully it means that they're setting that what they set up in the first season is gonna, you know, relate to what's happening in the subsequent seasons. Or at least that they've been sitting with it long enough that they do have time to tinker with it, as opposed to starting from scratch.
Yeah.
to make it all feel connected.
They really need to do a spinoff that's just a straight up sitcom that just happens to be in that town. Just pick a family. They can go get at that diner and get those chili cheese fries. They're really good. The ducks. It's like literally the guy that puts the fake ducks. Like that's his job, and he hates it.
Yep,
support.
that's me. I'm
Tech
Doug the
support.
Duck guy.
Yep, exactly.
And well, they're dealing with all that over here. I got problems of my own.
It's basically like Married with Children, but like in the dome. So like,
You were picked because of your ability to sell shoes, women's shoes.
I'd love it. I'd watch it. Fuck off. I'd watch it. Xavier shows up every once in a while. Like I don't care.
You hear that, Hollywood? We've done it again. We wrote another thing. What else
I don't
about this
want
show?
to. Yeah, I don't want to undersell this, but like we're hitting it in broad points. But the way it's put together is so well done. The attention to detail, like absolutely, put this on your watch list and go through it, because I think even if you listen to us and then go watch it, you'll still be pretty surprised
Thoroughly entertained.
And put the phone down.
and thoroughly
So
entertained
angry
about
about it.
how well everything fits together and how they present it to you.
And put the phone down when you watch it, because this show does a lot of quick little
Yeah.
flashes that they explain what they are pretty quickly. They're not like random, but just they feel random, but they're really well done. Like a character will bring up something like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that day," and you'll get like a 1 second flash of like her yelling at him or something like that, and you'll miss that if you're on your phone, because someone sends a lot of reels.
A lot. You're welcome.
And I send them too, so I don't give a shit.
They're real
Spammy.
friends.
Fuck off.
Spammy Miss Spammerson.
So it's my own curated content, and I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm about it.
But yeah, and I know we covered the pilot, but I want to emphasize how well that was done once again, because there's some shows where you have to watch 3 or 4 episodes for it to really click in and like lock you in.
Yeah, the
who's got
end of the
time for
first
that?
Nobody.
Episode, I was like, okay, I need all your seasons, and I need them now.
I was gonna pay some. I got like I could do like an episode and a half a day, and I immediately hit next episode after that
I
one.
was like, I will butt chug all these episodes.
Yeah. I think I watched the 1, and then I watched 3, and then I watched 4, like all at once.
Hell yeah.
I rarely do a full binge. I mean,
So
I got bad hips. I can't sit that long unless I'm playing WoW.
I was wondering where you're going with that. Bad hips.
These hips don't lie.
Shows get me excited. I bounce around. Can't do it that much.
Shakira, is that you?
It is too.
All right, we covered that. I'm sure we'll talk about it more. I'm sure we'll bring it up multiple times when we talk about even other topics because it's a great one. Real quick before we end this, anyone got some hype? Anyone got some rants, some excitement, something to say? Jermaine, you got something to say?
No. I'm just really excited. So I'm
Damn.
Hold on. Give me the floor.
no, hold on. So I finished season 3 of The Expanse, and I'm halfway through season 4. But season 3, I did the oh my god, the Leonardo DiCaprio because the way that the story's been going so far, I love it. But season 3, the ending, The Expanse, like they gave it to you because I was sitting there.
The whole expanse?
I was like,
Expanded expanse.
this is it. I don't want to give anything away.
Okay.
But it was just
Thank
the
you.
build up for everything. You're just like,
We'll watch it eventually.
this is where all that stuff, pointed to. And we're finally there. So now that we're finally here, getting into to season 4, they're in this place, and just like Paradise, how you have all the, like the little, like kind of side characters, main characters, but there's things moving on in the background. There's a crew member that he's a writer. Like he's down for everybody. In my mind, he's like the Terminator. He'll end anybody that's going against the crew, like instant, without thought. Like he's merciless.
Excuse me.
But there's a character in this season 4, and it's almost like anime-esque level / Tombstone, where they're out drinking coffee, and you get the build-up, but it's almost like Johnny Ringo and like Doc Holliday, but they're
The showdown.
like they've had their moments, and then you see them in the morning, like they're just drinking their cup, but they're just staring off at each other, and just things just keep happening in the background. I need that now. I need it to happen now. But anyways, I'm so excited that I finally started watching this series because it's so good, so good.
Yeah, I've been going through some current series. I'm in the middle of like Reacher. Reacher's been pretty strong. Same thing, some plot armor, but he's still a good looking guy to watch and kind of a funny character.
Reacher feels so old school, but I love it.
Yeah,
it's
there you
so
go.
just like, you know what solves problems? A big fucking muscular guy.
This thing right here.
Yeah.
It's almost like a procedural, but it's like, oh, got into some trouble again, or it finds him or whatever, and he's just a fun dude.
He
Invincible.
should play Absolute Batman.
He wants to play that shit so
Yeah.
fucking bad. I just finished Invincible.
Invincible's on my list next.
Invincible has some stronger story this time around, and it ends pretty well. Just in a big bloody mess. It's fucking cool. It's so fucking
Invincible
great.
bloody?
I know, even bloodier than the last season.
Oh, gross.
More bloody.
But yeah, that's what I've been watching lately.
Nice.
Doug?
Nice.
All sorts of stuff. I always say I want to get into more anime, and I really do. I am excited for Lazarus, the new anime from the
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, yeah.
God, that looks really good. Couldn't tell you anything about it. I watched the trailer once, and it got me tingling all sorts of places. So
Speaking of anime, didn't they just drop a trailer for All You Need Is Kill? There's
yes,
a animated Edge of Tomorrow. The Edge of Tomorrow is based off of this story. But
of a manga, and then
The
Yeah,
Tom
but I
Cruise
guess we're supposed to
Edge
get-
of Tomorrow? Okay.
like a true adaptation with this animated feature.
oh yes. And speaking of true adaptations, Starship Troopers is getting a new movie based off the book from the writer and director of District 9 and Chappie.
Blonsky, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I just saw that announcement. That's pretty exciting.
I just recently started rereading that book too.
Nice.
This is one of my favorite books.
Hell yeah.
Tread softly
Yeah.
because you tread on my drain.
Better be
You
some
can add that to
boobies
your
in this
news?
one though.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll hunt it down.
I got a lot of mine.
Guys done?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start fight.
I don't know, I'm
I'm
done.
gonna start fight real quick.
Yeah. Oh.
I watched Trap.
Oh, I still need to watch that shit.
Okay. I'm scared now. We built it up too much.
All right. No.
I forgot what was the you
To
said. You said it was
recap,
absolutely horrible, right?
I said it wasn't good, and then you were like, Jermaine's like, it's solid.
That
So
was a solid movie.
my buddy Trey,
I was like, what?
he said it was trash, and then Trey, who likes movies like us, he was like, "Oh, I watched Trap. You should watch it. It's actually pretty good." And I watched it. I'm like,
That's fine.
"Yeah,
Drink your coffee. Your
oh,
everything's
hold
on
on.
fire.
Hey,
I still need to see it.
it was that shit was solid."
Whatever. Who's that porn star? I looked at you. Who's that? The Arabic porn star?
Mia Khalifa.
Mia Khalifa. Recently, she was quoted as saying, like, I think it should have been nominated for an Oscar. You're like,
Oh, okay.
See,
everyone's like, trash.
But
So
I get what you're saying. You know, with M Night doing his thing with his family. That stuff didn't matter to me because it was one of the because it still revolved around what the story was. So it didn't necessarily take me out of it.
okay. Hold on.
Yeah, I still want to see Rudy.
I'm just gonna
Type
wait.
like
I'm
this.
just gonna weigh in with my a quick opinion,
I'm going to get hurt. So
and
bad
then
to
when
watch.
Doug sees it, then we'll tear it down. So this will be a whole 30-minute
Yeah.
argument.
It's a whole bonus episode. What we all thought of Trev.
The movie
I got a great idea afterwards. Well,
was
Don't say solid. I'll hate you.
it was okay, but a lot of the premises were fucking stupid,
There you go.
and the deliveries were like this is really happening right now. This is really happening right now. But it wasn't a dumpster fire. But I don't know if I'd give it that. It was okay. It's a little higher than yours and
It's
a
an
little
M.
lower
Night.
than yours. Like
It's an M Night movie. I don't know. It's not like I'm sitting here. I have never told anybody you should watch this movie. By the way, that's the thing. That's the thing.
but it did kind of
not
seem that
trash,
you
but don't
were
watch
giving it a pass though.
No, but see, when I recommend movies, you recommend the movie that you're gonna want somebody to watch. Like I can go watch Meg with Jason Statham. Like I fucking love that movie, but I'm not gonna tell anybody to go watch Meg because that's a little niche shit that I like.
After my experience with this movie, though, I'm gonna have to go see Madam Web because
Oh, please do.
I don't know if I trust your reviews anymore.
Oh, please fucking watch
that might
movie.
actually be a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
I
You heard it from
hear the guess that it's
Do a fucking double feature that and Craven, motherfucker.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh my god.
no.
I still
Lord.
have
Two
yet to watch
men,
those
two
movies.
co-hosts of Hypertime have killed each other.
Speaking of bad movies, I haven't seen it, and I don't know if you guys. I was a little excited for it. Electric State, the new Netflix movie with Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt.
Did that drop?
I saw a review that said that this movie might have harmed Hollywood. It was that bad. Like I didn't read the whole article, but the review was basically
reviews
saying like
going
this
around.
movie feels like a knockoff of what a movie should be.
Is it a pre-release review or is it out now? Right now, I can
It
watch
might
it.
be out
on Netflix.
Out. It's
Okay.
on, it might be out. But it was basically saying like this movie is a knockoff of a movie. It's everything that a movie should be, but it's not. And if you like half-ass pay attention, you'll probably walk away thinking like, yeah, it was a movie, it was good. But like if you actually pay attention, like they said, like it feels like it harms Hollywood. And now I want to watch it.
A movie for this generation, then, huh?
I'm down to movie night, that one. 17% on Rotten Tomatoes, 4 out of 10 on Screen Rant.
And we're talking Russo brothers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're talking Chris Pratt, which fuck him, but whatever. He's a good actor. I like his characters. Millie Bobby Brown, like everything's there. It's not. It's an alternate history '90s where robots were a thing. Like the setup and everything sounds so cool. So the fact that they're describing it as like a knockoff movie, I almost feel like, did AI write this?
A $320 million budget.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
What was
everything
the
here is
last
like this
movie?
is a movie that should be watched.
That trailer
What was
was
the last movie? Adam
It got
Driver?
me.
The was it Megalopolis or whatever?
Oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
the
Yeah.
fucking that's a whole other
Yeah.
thing.
So, yeah, but
Episode
I-
available on HST.
I really want to hate watch that.
but it's with those like you
It's not
you
as much
get
as
the
Dumpster
hype.
Fire's trash trap.
you get the hype and you want to be excited to watch these movies, and then you hear things like the reviews, and then everything just bombs after that. And I'm like, why are you making not why are you making these movies to be trash? But it's one of those things that, where I don't know if it's just the Russo brothers just Russo brothering this movie and kind of not getting any feedback from anybody because it's
They're
them.
like, oh, you're so great. Oh,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
You gave
This
us
is gonna be
in-game.
fucking trash. Oh my god.
Watch the franchise. They hit on that too.
But then you have
Yeah.
great directors that have made certain things like The Matrix, but not all, but majority of the other things that came after Matrix, you're just like,
And when you're surrounded by yes
these
people,
movies were supposed to be epic, and I know they thought that it was going to be, but
I'll have to watch Electric State.
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, before I say too much more about it, I do want to watch it. I have my theories that it's just a moneymaker. It's on Netflix. You got the big names. People are going to watch it no matter. Millie Bobby Brown, I think, is one of those people that people will watch no matter what. And then, I don't know. I'm trying to guess. Now after reading that review, like I kind of wish I didn't, because I wish I got a virgin perspective of it. My thoughts have now been tainted. I'm going to be watching it for that idea of it ruined Hollywood. But
I still go in, regardless of the
yeah,
shitty
a
reviews,
normal
like,
review, yes. But when the review is this literally harm the industry, is
But
one
you
that
see-
makes me.
But even with horror movies, they're
painfully
like,
entered my body.
this
You're
is
like, wow.
this is the most horrifying horror movie. People have been throwing up in their seats.
Right,
I'm
right,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
But
Come
that's,
on.
but that's
Come
to-
on, people.
Yeah, but that's to see the movie. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I feel like it's.
But
Yeah,
you need to
your
watch
point,
Trap
yeah,
first.
To your point, yeah.
Okay.
Next movie, Trap. Next episode, we cover a little. Can we just yell at each other for an hour? On next
Yeah,
episode?
sure. All right. Everyone
I'm happy.
hyped out. You're happy. We're all good.
Power down.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll hand this over to Isaac. He normally.
Lands the plane. So just a quick reminder, full video episodes are available on youtube.com/The Hype Attack podcast. Follow us on social medias at The Hype Attack on Instagram and TikTok, because there
You can continue the conversation using the comment feature that exists on these social media apps, as well
don't
as.
fucking mansplain or like talk down to our goddamn 8 people and listen to shit.
All right, I'm
Fuck,
very
there we
sorry.
go.
I like the precise instructions. I wouldn't know how to engage with this if there wasn't a manual somewhere.
Our audience very well might be 50, just signing on to Instagram.
Geriatrics out there.
Yeah. So no, seriously, keep the conversation going. We love it. We don't get any of it. So in my head, I really love the idea. I mean, I giggle to myself pretending to respond to.
You're going to say come. You said
Responding to comments.
whatever. I heard what I heard. And also there, we're putting more content out like we promised, so you get to see all of our faces a little more. Anything else?
Nope.
Right on. So see you guys next week. Same time, same time. Same
time hype.
Same time hype. Same time channel.
Channel hype.
Same hype
Sniff,
time.
sniff, sniff, sniff.
Same
Same hype channel.
Yep, snap, snap, snap. Damn it.